Hello and welcome to the beautiful Bailey Center Auditorium on the campus of Wallace State Community College in Hanceville. Thank you to our gracious hosts, Wallace State College, and Dr. Vicki Karlowicz for helping make this event possible. The 2026 Tribune Debate Series continues today with a race for Cullman County Commission District 2. This debate features Richard Barnett and Joshua Speakman. These events are designed to give the public unfiltered answers, direct comparisons, and meaningful conversation. The most important governing bodies in county government. Commissioners deal with county roads, bridges, budgets, public safety, sanitation, county services, growth, infrastructure, appointments, long-term planning, and the everyday concerns residents bring to their commissioner. This race is more than just campaign signs and slogans. It is about who understands the responsibilities of a commissioner, how county government works, and how decisions made by the commission affect residents across District 2 and Cullman County as a whole. The Tribune works diligently to reach every candidate, and we are pleased that both have shown up tonight. With all that being said, we'll get to the rules. There are no electronic devices are permitted on stage. Questions will alternate, so no one candidate answers first or last more than the other. Opening statements are limited to 60 seconds and may be prepared. Time allotted per question will be 2 to 3 minutes. Closing statements are limited to 90 seconds and must be spoken without notes. Each candidate is allowed one rebuttal per question, but only if one candidate directly names or calls out the other. Rebuttals are limited to 45 seconds. Facts only, no accusations without proof. If an unsupported accusation is made, additional response time may be given to the opposing candidate. Voters deserve substance over slogan. Talking points will not be enough. We will begin with our opening statements. Each candidate will now have 60 seconds for that statement. Mr. Barnett, you will be first.
I'm Richard Barnett. I'm running for Cullman County Commission District 2, and my background is mainly distribution. When I graduated high school, I went to work in Hanceville at a machine shop, stayed there for a little while, and then I went to the oil rigs. I worked in the oil field for 8 years, and then came back and went into work in distribution at Walmart Distribution, and worked my way on up into the supervision and then up into the management as I went to Books A Million, and stayed there for 8 years and left there and went to work with Office Max as an operation manager, and there's where I learned how to do the budgets. And at that time, I had a $64 million budget, and that's my qualifications.
Thank you, sir, for your opening statement. And Mr. Speakman, for your opening statement, sir.
My name is Josh Speakman. I was raised in a small family farm in Jones Chapel. I went to Cullman High School, class of 2000. Went to Wallace, transferred to Auburn University, where I studied psychology, minored in marketing. I returned to Cullman in 2006. In January, and on May 9th of that same year, we opened the Brandon Iron Steakhouse, and it was 20 years anniversary today. I've always been the general manager of the Brandon Iron for the last 20 years. I've met a diverse group of people, made some phenomenal friends, and established an incredible network of successful people who are like-minded and want to build a strong community. I've been involved in many different charities. I'm sure we'll get to that later, so I guess that'll be it.
Thank you, sir, for your response. Thank you both for your opening statements. And now we will get to it. Mr. Speakman, we will start with you first. And the first question is, the Cullman County Commission is responsible for decisions that affect roads, bridges, budgets, public safety, sanitation, county services, and long-term growth. What do you believe is the most important responsibility of a county commissioner, and what specific steps would you take to make sure District 2 is represented effectively?
Well, the main, I think, goal of the county commission is to endorse department heads that are efficient and knowledgeable about their job, so they can, because there's no way we could know everything about every department. So as long as we invest in the hiring of department heads that are knowledgeable and professionals, then they can, delegate through their department and handle their day-to-day operations. We would not be involved with that. I think that's the most important thing. That way you can handle every department across the board by endorsing people, professional people who know what they're doing.
Thank you, sir, for your response. And Mr. Barnett, same question. The Cullman County Commission is responsible for decisions that affect roads, bridges, budgets, public safety, sanitation, county services, and long-term growth. What do you believe is the most important responsibility of a county commissioner, and what specific steps would you take to make sure District 2 is represented effectively?
Well, what I'm going to do is a little bit different. I'm going to, if I'm elected, I'm going to have bi-monthly meetings, community meetings. And I'm a good listener, and I had actually a guy today or yesterday call me and want to know about the Crooked Creek Bridge on 278. And I said, I don't know all the answers, but I'll get them to you real quick. And actually, I've already got him back the answer for that bridge. The bids are supposed to be in this coming September. And the following October, which this year, they will start the new bridge on 278. So communication and listening to the people and getting back with them in a very timely manner.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll stay with you for our second question. For those who may not fully aware of what a county commissioner does for their district and a county as a whole, how would you best explain the duties of the office to a resident who only thinks about the commission when there is a road issue, a budget concern, or a county service problem?
Well, first of all, you got to explain to them that Cullman County has about 2,000 miles of roads, and we maintain 1,750 of them roughly. And we're number 2 in the state of Alabama in roads, but we're only 17th in revenue for them roads. So you got to explain to them. But what I'd actually like to do too is be proactive, like when there's a subdivision coming in. If we already going to know when them subdivisions is coming, because they got to get permits. What I would like to do is go ahead and get the road construction done before the subdivision is completed.
Thank you, sir, for your response. And Mr. Speakman, we'll go to you, same question. For those who may not be fully aware of what a county commissioner does for their district and a county as a whole, how would you best explain the duties of the office to a resident who only thinks about the commission when there is a road issue, budget concern, or a county service problem?
Again, we have to endorse the department heads. That's our job, is to find the department heads that officially do that job. And then it's also our job to make sure they have the tools and the ability to maintain their job efficiency, and as well as we have to oversee their budget, make sure they stay within the budget. That all falls down again on the department heads that supposed to, in each department, they're supposed to know their responsibilities. So that would be our job is to hold them accountable, not to do the day-to-day interactions.
Thank you for your answer, and we'll stay with you for this next question. County commissioners must make decisions for their district while also voting on issues that affect the entire county. How would you balance the needs of District 2 with the broader responsibilities of county-wide government? Please feel free to elaborate.
Well, I think the needs of District 2 is similar to all the other districts, is the population increase. We're experiencing a huge population increase due to the city of Hanceville. It's booming, and people are going to move here. And so the infrastructure, like Richard said, we've got to maintain the infrastructure. We've got to make sure that the communities around these big subdivisions that are moving in can maintain their quality of life and what they enjoy now, and not be affected by the massive consumption of utilities and roads, water. We have to make sure that we stay in front of that. If we don't stay in front of that, it'll get away from us. But as long as we control the narrative, I think we'll be fine.
Thank you for your response. And Mr. Barnett, same question. County commissioners must make decisions for their district while also voting on issues that affect the entire county. How would you balance the needs of District 2 with the broader responsibilities of county-wide government? Please feel free to elaborate.
Well, you have to sit down and be able to communicate with the other 3 commissioners and come up with the best decision for the Cullman Countyans. And there's only a limited amount of money for the roads, and I think there's $14.1 million in the budget for the roads, and most of that's eat up by labor and new machinery. But you've got to get ahead and stay ahead of the things and communicate. That's one thing that I'm really pushing, is to communicate with the public before things happen. That way everybody in the county is in the loop how it works and what we're going to do in the future.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll keep it, stay with you for this next question. Roads and bridges are among the most visible responsibilities tied to county government. How would you evaluate road needs in District 2, prioritize projects, and communicate timelines to residents?
Well, again, 4 is so much bigger than all the rest of them, but they get the same amount of money. So you got to communicate right and you stay within the budget.
Thank you, sir, for your response. Mr. Speakman, we'll ask the same question. Roads and bridges are among the most visible responsibilities tied to county government. How would you evaluate road needs in District 2, prioritize projects, and communicate timelines to residents?
Well, I think the county engineer handles that. There's an algorithm they plug into the system. They factor in the transportation, the residents that live on that road, how frequently it's traveled, and then and the condition of the road. They factor all that into the algorithm, which places it on a list of what the road should be paved. I think that list is pretty much followed, to my understanding. But I think that the money that comes from Montgomery is just going to be, that's all you get. It's not going to increase or decrease. It's just all you get. So I think we should try different avenues to find, like grants. Grants out there are very specific. And if you get a grant for more funding, you get those for public transportation, public safety, anything like that we might not know about. That if we do a little investigating and seek out those other means of funding, that would provide each district with more money to pave roads.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll stay with you for this next question. The county budget affects public safety, road work, sanitation, senior services, county departments, and long-term planning. What would your approach be to reviewing and voting on the county budget?
Well, I would, what do you think? Well, you'd have to have department heads. You have to hold each one accountable. You'd have to have evaluations of job performance and make sure that they stay within the budget. If they go out the budget, it's the commission's job to approve whether they can go outside the budget or not, and while they're submitting to do that. I would suggest that we just keep it within their budget, and then the commission just oversees that.
Thank you, sir, for your response. Mr. Barnett will ask the same question. The county budget affects public safety, road work, sanitation, senior services, county departments, and long-term planning. What would your approach be to reviewing and voting on the county budget?
Well, first of all, you got your engineer tell you and then you go out and look, like County Road 248. I was down there the other day, and we've had a lady broke her axle in her pretty new vehicle. Trying to find money for it and asking for grant money. I've already told Heath Albright, Garland Gudger, and Cindy Myrick that I'm going to be hammering them for money for these roads. I want grant money for the roads, and it's there. You just got to get it.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll stay with you for this next question. Residents may contact commissioners when they are frustrated, confused, or unable to get answers from county government. Tell us how would you handle constituent service, and what standard would you set for responding to residents?
Well, as in the last few weeks, just like I've been doing, they call me and ask me if I could help them. Well, first of all, you got to be a good listener. You have to listen to their needs, and you got to write it down. As long as you get back to them, explain the money budget and explain how much money, and the engineer is prioritizing the roads is the safety. So he's got the first hand of what the roads really need. But for me, I would like to, when they call and complaining, I want to go see the road. I want to be there and see it with my own eyes and understand their concerns, because their concerns will be our concerns.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Speakman, same question. Residents may contact commissioners when they are frustrated, confused, or unable to get answers from county government. Tell us how you would handle constituent service and what standard would you set for responding to residents?
Well, I've been in the public sector for probably 20 years now, and I handle this quite often, even as not a commissioner. People call me with these situations and problems and complications all the time that I seek the answers for. That's what I've done the last 20 years, is have people that have problems or don't understand things exactly the way things work. I'll meet with them, sit with them, and explain it to them, because people like to be heard and like to know that you hear what their complaint is, even if you can't give them what they want or fix it exactly how they want it to be fixed. Just for them to know that you've heard them and that you've done what you can is enough. It's sufficient. That goes a long way with the people. They might not get everything they want, but as long as they know you tried, then that's what counts.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll stay with you for this next question. Cullman County continues to grow, and growth brings pressure on roads, services, land use, emergency response, and infrastructure. What role should a county commissioner play in preparing for growth before problems become harder and more expensive to solve?
Well, I think we should hold the contracting companies accountable for their subdivisions, and at least to invest some of the money that they make on the millions of dollars they make and they leave town with. I think they should invest some of that back into our infrastructure, make sure the roads are maintained to a higher quality. I know they do them somewhat, but they don't do a very good job with it. They crumble within a year or two. But I think we should do that. We should make sure that the utilities, well, not just the roads, but you get utilities, you got the traffic that comes with all these subdivisions. That's all got to be maintained, all got to be upgraded and maintained by the county commission, which I think there should be some kind of accountability to the construction companies that would help with that.
Thank you, sir, for your response. Mr. Barnett, same question. Cullman County continues to grow, and growth brings pressure on roads, services, land use, emergency response, and infrastructure. What role should a county commissioner play in preparing for growth before problems become harder and more expensive to solve?
Well, that's when I was talking earlier, when when a subdivision is coming, because they got to get the permits for them. I think we need to get the roads fixed before the construction starts, where therefore we're already ahead of the game. That's something we don't do at this point in time, and it may not be done, but I'm willing to try to think outside the box and do something different. But I think we need to invest in strictly blacktop and get away from the chip seal. I'm a firm believer in doing away with the chip seal program and strictly stick with the blacktop, because it lasts so much longer.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll keep it with you for this next question. The commission works with department heads, county employees, the county administrator, and other elected officials. Tell us, how would you approach that working relationship while still maintaining independent judgment as a commissioner?
Could you repeat that one more time?
Yes. The commission works with department heads, county employees, the county administrator, and other elected officials. Tell us, how would you approach that working relationship while still maintaining independent judgment as a commissioner?
Well, first of all, you got to be a good listener, and my wife says sometimes I'm not. But at the same time, you've got to listen to the whole process, and then that's when you start making your judgment. But I've done that for 20 years.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Speakman, Same question. The commission works with department heads, county employees, the county administrator, and other elected officials. Tell us, how would you approach that working relationship while still maintaining independent judgment as a commissioner?
Well, you have to respect the power of each office and the obligations of each office, and have a working relationship with all the delegations across the board. I already have a relationship with all of them, and we've worked on different projects together. That would be the main thing, is each office has their own responsibilities and their own abilities and powers to do what that office is obligated to do. So if you all work together, you have to respect what their position in it, but you also have to hold up for your own. But I think that working together as a team would be the best approach to that, and I already have that team established. And but you have to respect their authority and the capacity of their job as well.
Thank you, Mr. Speakman, and we'll stay with you for this next question. Public trust depends on transparency, accessibility, and clear explanations of how decisions are made. What would you do to make commission decisions easier for residents to understand before and after votes are taken?
Well, I think including the public and educate the public on what's going on would be the best approach to that. Like tonight, not many people show up to these things, so sometimes it feels useless to try to host these kind of events. But they affect more people than you think, and that's why I think that the hosting the town hall events, going to these luncheons, going to the senior centers, make yourself available to the public. So if they have any questions or don't understand anything, they can always ask, and you could have a one-on-one conversation with them, or do something like this. Either way, you've got to keep communication lines open with the public.
Thank you, sir, for your response. And Mr. Barnett, same question. Public trust depends on transparency, accessibility, and clear explanations of how decisions are made. What would you do to make commission decisions easier for residents to understand before and after votes are taken?
As I said earlier in my open statement, I want to have a meeting about every 2 months. Just tell them what's coming, what their thought is, their ideals, and then after the meeting or after the project is done, see where we failed or we done good, and get their response. And there may be some changes we have to make at the end, just like changing a driveway. If we were building a new road, changing a driveway over. I was out at New Canyon this past Thursday night, and that was one of the big things over at the Strawberry Bridge. One lady's driveway was moved 40 foot, and she was very concerned about that. So we got Garland Gudger got ALDOT involved, and they're going to change it back to where it was. But that's the thing, you got to listen, have the meetings before the project comes, and then have the meeting after the project is finished, because you've always got to tweak things to make everybody happy. That's as much as you can do, is listen to them and then try to comply with everything within what the engineer wants to do, also in the safety part of it.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll stay with you for this next question. A commissioner may hear a request for spending, road improvements, or county assistance that cannot at all be funded at once. Please tell us how would you decide which needs come first when resources are limited?
Well, what you got to do, you got to prioritize the things. And then you got to set that money back if it don't come at one time, and keep people informed. That's the main thing they want to do. They want to be informed. They want to know where you're at on that project. So if it's going to take 2 or 3 years to get that money together, and you can't get grant money, then you've got to build it. But keep the people informed of what you're doing, how long it's going to take, about how much money each year is coming in, and the goal at the end of the project, what it's going to cost, and where you're at with that money to produce that product, that procedure.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett. Mr. Speakman, same question. A commissioner may hear a request for spending, road improvements, or county assistance that cannot all be funded at once. Please tell us, how would you decide which needs come first when resources are limited?
Well, I think if you just be transparent with the people and be honest with them, I think that most people understand. If you have a public safety issue, it's going to take priority over the roads, or it's going to take priority over, the senior center, or something like that, or even with the resource officers. You have to just be honest with the people and you explain it to them, and I think they'll understand. And people understand the priority of certain aspects of the county that would take precedence over some others. So it's good to have nice things, Parks and Rec and all that. But I think if it comes down to it, and you have to budget the priority, I think if you just be honest with the people and be transparent with them, I think they'll understand.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll stick with you for this next question. County government often involves state laws, federal funds, audits, contracts, bids, and legal procedures. Tell us how you would make sure you are prepared to vote responsibly on matters that are technical, financial, and legally complex.
Well, I served for over 10 years on the Cullman County Community Development Commission, which was a commission that reviewed grants applications from the public service, the police departments, fire departments, charities, and municipalities. We distributed taxpayer money to these grants to grant these people for their special projects or their equipment and stuff like that. So I'm used to that whole process of abiding by the grants, stay within the guidelines of that we would approve. So I think we're very similar to that.
Thank you, Mr. Speakman. Mr. Barnett, same question. County government often involves state laws, federal funds, audits, contracts, bids, and legal procedures. Tell us how you would make sure you are prepared to vote responsibly on matters that are technical, financial, and legally complex.
Well, first of all, you get with the whole team. You get with your attorneys on the financial and the I think Mr. John Bullard, and you sit down and try to get over it. Then you have to go to Washington and sometimes Montgomery to get the money, but you have to spend the money wisely, and I want to account for every penny where it goes. I want to be transparent to the people, because I work for the people. But anyway, I want to be very transparent.
Thank you, sir, for your response, and we'll stay with you for this final question. This office carries responsibility for public money, county services, infrastructure, public safety, and the long-term direction of Cullman County. Based on the duties of the office, why should voters trust you to serve as Cullman County Commissioner for District 2?
Well, I think I'm very trustworthy. I've ran some stores and I've helped out in the public, but I've done $64 million budgets with Office Max, and I've had over 400 people works for me at one time. So what I'm wanting to give back to the public, give back to my community, and that's my goal, and to make Cullman better. And I want it to be not just better, but I want the roads to be the best when I leave office. I want them to be the best that they can be, and I want the bridges to be safe, and I believe I can do that and work with the others. And I also want to try to expand on the airport at Vermont.
Thank you, Mr. Barnett, for your answer. Mr. Speakman, final question. This office carries responsibility for public money, county services, infrastructure, public safety, and the long-term direction of Cullman County. Based on the duties of the office, why should voters trust you to serve as Cullman County Commissioner for District 2?
Well, I've proven the transparency and the efficiency of the different boards I've sat on, the not-for-profit boards. I've always been real big on the budget and the bylaws, going by what you're supposed to do as far as the guidelines to those regulations. I think that people know me. I'm easy to approach, easy to talk to. They know where to find me. I'm easily accessible. People's been, my phone number's out there. People can call me if they've got any issues or any problems. I've always been a voice for the people in the county government. This way, I'm just going to be elected, so it kind of cuts out the middleman. And so I think that's why people trust me.
Thank you, Mr. Speakman. And now we'll head into our closing statements. Each candidate will now have 90 seconds for a closing statement. Closing statements must be spoken without notes. Mr. Speakman, we will begin with you.
All right. So, I asked for your vote on May 19th. I don't make promises I can't keep. If you vote for me, can I get your road paved? No, I can't. But I promise you that my team will be working tirelessly to find the grants that are out there and secure them and get the information to the Economic Development Office so they can pursue that phenomenal Economic Development Office, and they'll be able to get the grants if we get them to them. If you vote for me, we get special treatment. No, I can't help you with that, but I can promise you that I'll answer the phone every time that you call me, or if not, I'll call you back. I'll be your voice in the county government. I'll stand up, always stand up for what is right, even if I'm standing alone. I've got years of experience with different projects in the county, and that's what I just think.
Thank you for your closing statement. And Mr. Barnett, you now have 90 seconds.
I'd appreciate each and every one of you's vote on May 19th, but I think I'm very trustworthy. I went to West Point Baptist Church for the last 32 years, and I've had people to call me, especially since I've been in this campaign. And I think one of the main things that people have respected out of me, that when they ask me something, I'll just be honest. I'll tell them I don't know the answer, but I will get the answer, and I will get it back to them. And I'll try to do that in a timely manner. Again, I've already told Heath Albright and Cindy Myrick and Garland Gudger I'm going to be burning their phone down because I want money for the roads. I want every grant money I can find. And I've already contacted some executives with Walmart trying to get school money. I'm going to be trying to get a hold of Clyde Anderson to try to get some money for the schools. I know they're not going to give money for roads and they're not going to give for equipment, but they will give to schools. And I've got a big heart for trying to find money for autistic kids.
Thank you, sir. Thank you both. That actually concludes this portion of the 2026 Tribune Debate Series. Thank you to both candidates, Richard Barnett and Josh Speakman, for being here today and for giving voters the opportunity to hear directly from each of you. Thank you to everyone who attended in person, everyone watching online, and everyone who continues to take part in the local election process. An informed public makes for a stronger county, and these conversations matter. We also want to thank Wallace State Community College for hosting us here at the Bailey Center Auditorium, and to Dr. Vicki Karlowicz and the Wallace State team for their hospitality and support. The Tribune will continue working to give voters direct access to candidates, clear information, and meaningful public conversation throughout this election cycle. Once again, thank you all for being here, and have a great evening. Thank you. All right, let me grab that from you.